Hi, I am Donna Rhodenizer. Happy Valentine's Day. I have a Valentine's song for you. It's called Guess Who, and it's probably for grade primary or kindergarten, maybe, but grade 1 to grade 3 for sure. And it is focusing on the opportunity for your students to be singing individually and working on finding a head voice and matching pitch. So here's a song. I'm going to actually sing it from the sheet to make sure I get it right. Oh, I have to go play it on the piano to be sure that I have the right pitch. And I would recommend doing this for your starting pitch, but then don't play the piano with the game at all. So I'll be right back. I have to go play my note. Are you still there? That's my starting pitch. I received a Valentine, I found it on my desk. I do not know who sent it, it's up to me to guess. Was it you? Was it you? Guess who? Guess who? So the game that was originally created for this song is that the students are sitting in a circle. There's one student in the center and they have their eyes closed, and we would pass a Valentine around. I have a Valentine card that I've had for years and years and years, and we would just pass that around. And at the end of the song, when we were singing, was it you, was it you, everybody puts their hands behind their back, including the child with the card, and then just the person with the card sings, guess who, guess who. And the person in the center is going to open their eyes and look around the circle and see if they can guess who the person was. Now, if they guess it correctly, great. You can play this two ways. They can switch places and the person that was just guessed goes in the middle, or you can pick a new person, so that way you get like two children having turns all the time for every go round of this. But that's entirely up to you. But if the student does not guess on the first try, sometimes they just say it was Gerald. No, it wasn't Gerald. It was Susan. Yes, it was Susan. And then we go on. But sometimes if they look a little bit confused, I say, would you like to hear the mystery person again? Yes, I would. So I say, close your eyes again. And I say, can you sing again, mystery person? Guess who, guess who? And I really like this element if I'm doing assessment, which I often am with these individual singing game elements. So if that person didn't quite pitch correctly, and I can sing for them, can you sing? Can you sing? Guess who, guess who? And then they just have to imitate. Guess who, guess who? Sometimes that locks the pitch for them so that they are hearing it sort of isolated. They don't have to pick it out from, was it you, guess who? Which I know is the same pitch, but for us as older, more mature and practiced listeners and singers, that seems to be pretty easy. But for young and inexperienced singers, sometimes they really need to just hear the words and the pitch. Guess who, guess who, guess who, guess who? And then we go on. Now, if they are singing and it's matched pitch and I'm doing assessment, that's great, and I'm checking them off. I like to bring attention to that, and we'll say things like, oh my goodness, Gerald, that was really great. Did you hear how his voice was guess who, and my voice was guess who, and they were the same. And we start to label those things so that when I'm talking about higher and lower or the same, the children know what I'm talking about. Now, what happens if you get a student who doesn't sing it at pitch? So you guess who, was it you, guess who? Depending on the singer, and you will get to know your singers, you can leave that where it is and the person guesses and on you go and everybody's had their turn with the game. Or if you have established enough rapport and trust with that student and you know that they will be okay with a little bit of conversation around their contribution, you can say, did you hear Gerald when he sang and my voice was guess who, and Gerald's voice was guess who? Whose voice was higher, mine or Gerald's? And they'll say, well, yours was higher. Or they'll say Gerald's was higher. Listen again. Guess who, guess who? And it's me singing both parts. So Gerald's off the spot. Gerald's done his thing and it's just me dealing with it. So then they'll say, well, your voice was higher, Gerald's was lower. I said, yep, that's true. Guess who is higher and guess who is lower? Again, we are labeling. We're not saying, oh, Gerald, that wasn't right. We never ever say it was wrong or right. It's either higher or lower or the same, and we go on. At another time, if I think that Gerald can maybe do this because I see by my assessment that he's been matching a pitch sometimes and sometimes else, I might say to Gerald, I said, guess who? And you said, guess who? Can you bring your voice up and sing, guess who? and find my voice. And he might go, guess who? I said, oh, Gerald, you sang guess who the first time and guess who the second time. So he made his voice go higher. Great job. And on we go. And you do that little baby steps, time after time after time. And eventually, by grade 2 or grade 3, most of my students are singing in tune and can match a pitch, and we're used to this whole conversation around, is it higher, is it lower, can you make your voice change, and on we go. The beauty of a singing game, Guess Who, is that you have a reason to sing these simple songs, these simple tone sets over and over and over again. Everybody wants a turn, everybody wants to guess, everybody wants to be the mystery singer, and so it's a reason to continue to sing over and over again. So I love that aspect of the singing games. Again, I don't play the piano with these. I do go over and plunk a note on the piano to get my starting pitch, so I have the students singing in a range that's appropriate and good for them developmentally. So between middle C and the next C or the D higher than that is a good range. But the most commonly used notes in that C to C octave that I'm using right now is that so mi, A to F sharp sound, if I've remembered my pitches from my piano there. If I'm wrong and you go check it out, be kind. Remember, there's no right or wrong, just higher or lower. Now, if you're going to use this song with an older group of students, obviously they've already learned how to do that so-mi interval. That's not going to be much of a challenge. And if you are working in a classroom where you are working within restrictions for movement or for not being able to sing, you can change that to a chant, so you can just chant it. How are you going to do that? Guess who? You're not pitching anymore, you're not singing. If the students have little individual instrument bags that they could choose an instrument that they want to play. The person that's the mystery person will play that guess who on whatever instrument they choose out of their little bag of instruments. And the guesser has to still guess who that is. Now, it's more just by who is sitting where they're sitting that they're guessing, but you can do it that way, which is very simple for your younger grades. Older grades, you might be able to have the student that is the mystery person clap a rhythm. So you could hold up a flashcard and have them clap ti-ti-ta, and then the guesser has to guess what the rhythm was. And if you want to be really tricky, you can get them to guess the rhythm and who clapped it or who said it. But you could use any one of those variants, whether you get them to say it or you get them to clap it, if you get them to just see if they can identify the rhythm that they've just heard. So you can be standing behind the person that's guessing so they cannot see the card. Everybody else can see the card so they know what they're supposed to be hearing and identifying. And for a super challenge with even grade 5s and grade 6s, if you get each child to create their name in a rhythm pattern. Let's see if I can find mine here. I had it earlier. Where is it? There I am. So I have Donna Rhodenizer, Donna Rhodenizer. So you can have the song or the chant, and at the end, guess who. You hold up the card and everybody can say ta, ta, ti, 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 ti. And then the person who's guessing has to guess whose name fits that rhythm pattern. Now this is actually a 2 or 3 class lesson because you are going to have to generate these cards to begin with. So you have to figure out what everybody's name is in a rhythm pattern. And mine is easy because it starts on the downbeat. What happens if you've got somebody like Elizabeth Smith? Elizabeth Smith. Then you're going to have an anacrusis, you're going to have a bar line, you're going to have a half note at the end. So there's lots of things to talk about. I love this as an exercise because once the students are needing some of that theory as it is attached to something that means something to them, that will have more meaning as opposed to saying, today we're going to learn about anacrusis. It's a weak beat that happens before the first beat of a full bar, and they're going, yeah, whatever. But all of a sudden, Elizabeth needs to know what that is, or she can't put Elizabeth Smith. So it becomes personalized, it becomes something that has meaning for them, and they will, Elizabeth at least, will remember probably what an anacrusis is because she needs it for her card. So you can do that and just hold up different cards and have them try to identify whose name they are seeing on that card. if you want to put an even more challenge in that, although you got to be careful because this could get rowdy, but it could be fun, is that you could have the students be able to steal from the guesser if they know who that is, if they know when they see that that's Elizabeth Smith, and they put up their hand before the guesser guesses, they might be able to steal that point from the guesser. I don't know. You can do many, many variants. Make it a fun and a challenging game, and they will tie into that, and they will love to play that. All right, did I forget anything? I did. When I'm asking my students to sing individually, it is really, really important that you proceed gently, that you are careful with your students' answers. You want them to be able to be confident that whatever they contribute will be accepted and respected. That is one of the major, major rules in my classroom. I don't like it, but I might put up with silly. I don't like it, but I will talk about whether or not you're talking when I'm talking. But I will not, zero tolerance. I will not have anybody's response treated disrespectfully in my classroom. And my students know that, and you have to go really, really strongly with that at the beginning and talk about it. Actually talk about it, saying, you know what? We learn from mistakes. That's that growth mindset that we are trying to instill in our children these days, and that we learn by making mistakes. And if we make a mistake and someone laughs or makes fun of that answer, then that person may not want to try again. If they don't try again, it's a lot harder to learn from that mistake and go on. So that's a really important foundational thing to establish in your classroom right from the get-go, that no matter what the student contributes, that it will be accepted and respected. But on the other hand, you don't want to say, you know, when I was talking to Gerald and I go, guess who, guess who, guess who, guess who. I don't want to ever say, Gerald, that was perfect. Our voices were the same, because they weren't. You want to confuse a kid? Well, just tell them that that was perfect. When they can hear, the students that can hear it, can hear that it's not. So label them, yes, higher, lower. Don't label them right or wrong. And don't say that it's right when it's not. So I hope that is a song that you find some uses for in your classroom, very simply as the So Me guessing game with the younger grades, and maybe with more of a challenge with those rhythms, with the students' names for older grades. Happy Valentine's Day. Have a great day making music, and make music a great part of your day.